We are back. I apologize for canceling our Sunday stream. Something came up. Actually, I have a funny story for you guys later if we have the time for it. But we are going to be doing a bug fixing stream today. Hello, 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 hello. I am now going to program. And as much as we can, we're going to be trying to see if we can access a new area in our game. Our level designers have been cooking something big up for us. And they just got something into the game yesterday. And so we're going to be playing around with that a little bit. And hopefully we can come up with a good plan and do some visual work today. It's not too often that I get to be it's not too often I get to be a graphics developer. But now we get to. So first of all, we'll have to go fix some bugs. I did promise last time, we actually got way further ahead than we thought on the mechanical side, which is absolutely amazing. But now we're gonna actually need to work on the not fun stuff, you know, like the bugs in the actual game. But, you know, no big deal. We're just gonna try to see how far we can get, and hopefully we can get through all of it today. It is gonna be a little bit of a shorter stream today. I think I believe we only have 3 hours or so, and then I gotta go head out for more meetings and more business stuff. But I have just about 3 hours to get as much as I can fixed before the game gets released internally tonight. So we're actually going to be compiling the game and seeing if the EXE is playable and any other things that people need to properly test the game this week, since we are now going to have closed testing. So very exciting, and look forward if you guys want to play some of the latest cutting edge versions of EOB. I believe we have some cool stuff in the works for our community as well, that I just need to get some permission from our friend Davis over here for. So we'll talk about that a little bit off stream, and then we'll talk about it on stream later this week.
Yes, you guys will be in the know at some point.
All right. With that in mind, let's run a quick test on the chat just to make sure that everything's working correctly. Hello. Okay, cool, that works. Perfect. And then we'll just move this back here, and then we got our music. All right. So, this is a surprise for you guys later. You guys don't get to see this one just yet. But we do have our Puzzle 1 blockouts this week. So, since you last spoken, I've done a little bit more work. I've changed up the puzzle here a little bit to make it far more simpler, because we're going to have an enemy here, a twist enemy here, that's going to make things a little complicated. We're going to be working off stream on that tomorrow, so we're not going to get to see the cool enemies just yet. We want to leave that as a surprise for all of you guys who are going to be playing our game in the future. But for those who are patient, we will be showing off some previews and sneak peeks soon, as well as maybe even some trailers as we get it done. So, what has changed since last time? First of all, I'm sure you guys remember from our last stream, we worked on some levers and stuff. We actually have these in puzzles now. It took a little bit of time, but we ended up getting a lot more work done on the levers and gates issue. I basically started over off stream to get as much work done as I can on it in advance, because I honestly just needed to figure out a lot of stuff that I wasn't sure I could figure out on stream. So I ended up working on that for maybe like 2-3 hours after off stream, and I ended up finding a good solution for it. And the back end, it's functionally all the same. You basically hit a lever and then something moves. In this case, there's like a mesh mover. But for our game, we also obviously want to do more than that. We want buttons to move gates, and you already saw that earlier with this gate being affected by the button over there. That's still some old code, and we're going to try to replace that today because it's not that modular and it'll cause issues in the future if we keep using it. So we're going to be getting rid of this bug today. And also I'll be showing you guys our CNI mechanic from our demo again as well if you guys haven't seen that. And we're going to try to implement it all in one go. Yeah. So let's get to programming. Oh wait, sorry. Let's hop to programming. There you go. Oh yeah. Okay. So this is what's new since last time. We have a new mesh mover, and we have something called ACPL mesh movers, which are basically little components. This one's the lever component. I'm actually going to rename this so it's a little clearer. Let us find this. Here you go. And we're going to rename this to lever mesh mover. So now the goal is we basically have a bunch of these components, and you can actually even see it with this one. Is we have basically just these three, and then whenever it's necessary, we basically add these components to it. So for example, if it's a button, we'll add a button component to it. If it's a lever, we'll add a lever component to it. And the idea is that none of the code inside this thing is actually changing, but we're adding new code using components to it that can talk to the button, talk to the lever, and all of that kind of good stuff. So we're basically going to have a bunch of attached receivers is the easiest way of putting it. And the goal now for today is, since we have a proof of concept with this being perfectly working now, and actually, yeah, even show you guys that in our test level, which I'll actually show off right now. And not that one. This one. There you go. Is essentially this gate has actually been replaced with a completely new actor. So it's no longer the same gate as you guys knew it before, and you guys can actually even hear that because not only did we fix the animation system, so now it's no longer snapping up and down, but we added the particle system, the sound effects to it as it plays back, and we also have that new like plug and play component that will automatically wire these two together for development convenience. The goal now is that we're gonna try to wire these two together as well. I'll be showing you guys that in just a little bit. We'll start with the button first because I think that's gonna be the most complicated. Or maybe no, it's gonna be easier. We'll do the easier one so I can explain it to you guys, and then if the CNI gets too hard, we'll resort to Davis talking while I bang it with a wrench.
Okay. Also, you can't you stream.
Oh yes, all right. Here you are.
Okay, thank you.
The stream audio and everything's doing fine, right? Just double checking.
Let me check.
Okay. And while you're doing that, I'll take a look at all the button stuff. Close all of this because we're done with the lever.
This is gonna take long enough. My browser's not happy.
Your browser's not happy. That's fair.
Nope.
Okay, it looks like the code is identical. Except for these requirements checked being different. So we can actually even go as far as just deleting these, I think. These are legacy codes, so we can just murder these two, I think. Yeah, let's get rid of these two. Cool. Okay. So really, we don't really have too much to work on. It should be as simple as deleting this affect here and replacing it with our mesh mover. Yeah, I labeled it as a barrel for so I would know since we had nothing else that looked like a barrel. That should close everything up. Save load. Okay. Now, I believe you don't even need this either. Let's go delete this too. Yeah. Okay, so now we're just left with the button and the I button check. So the main difference between... Oh, what's up? What's up, Davis?
Oh, I was about to say, I'm gonna head out at 1 just so I don't drop it in your lap.
Oh, got you. Thank you for that. So, I mean, given how simple this is, I don't think it'll be too much of an issue then. Thank you for the test, Davis. Test chat. So I guess just as a short explanation for kind of why this didn't work for us before. So basically how it would work is we would have these like components that would help process the input. These were all the process handlers for everything. So like whether the levers were hit down, how many levers were hit down. The whole point of this is that it would support as many levers as we would need. So it's not just one lever goes to one door, it's 14 levers goes to one door and how that would impact it and all the animations that would need to be procedurally done for that to work. So I handled all of that already. And the I button, as you can see, is drastically simpler because it really just comes down to, is the button hit? And if it's hit, call the requirement met. And if it isn't hit, return it back to 0. But the main reason why it was so troublesome to get it working before is because we would need to basically create a new child for every gate to attach properly to the component. So we would run into this issue with whatever component that we would create. We would need to make a new child for it to pair them together instead of just attaching it to the parent of it and saving us all of the work of basically making 30 different gates. And so that's really what happened in our demo is like if I search up like affect, we ended up having like a scene eye affect, a lever affect, and like a button affect. And that caused a lot of confusion because sometimes we would edit one gate thinking that it would impact all the gates, but it just didn't. And not only that, there were bugs that were exclusive to some children that we didn't know existed because they were separate from each other. And so it was also just a problem with like consolidating everything. And so that's what we're doing precisely now is we're consolidating everything. So since then, I found a new way of accessing the owner without having to go through all of the difficult parts. So as you can see, if I search a gate, I believe we have a reg gate now. And this is now how the entire game is handled between these things, and you'll see how we had bindings for everything before, essentially these little bindings attached to everything, but we've since gotten rid of them and just calling the thing directly. And obviously this kind of opens up room for other bugs, since now there may be something bad that could happen if you put a component onto something that it doesn't support. So in this case, like if you put a component onto a gate or a non-gated object and expect it to work, these components are labeled to work specifically with the mesh movers. That's why I've now labeled them as AC, which is actor component, P, which is puzzle, lever, and then mesh mover, so that this component can never be confused for any other component in its use or in its name. And so better naming schemes and everything as well. Anyways, I do want to rename this, so we'll rename this right now. So ACP button mesh mover. And then we'll move that into our mover components. So we have nice categories now. And then I think all I gotta do is paste something in here from the code over here. So, and I think for those in chat who are interested in programming this, I think there are probably a good dozen ways we could have solved this problem. This is just the one that came up to me kind of off the top of my head. I know components are a lot more customizable, and you can probably go as far as even restricting what it can be attached to. Hold up. Hold up, I think I just figured that out right now.
Genius.
The BP. Hold up. Mesh mover. No, I can't. No. And largely because I don't want to mess with this. I'm honestly, frankly, too scared of messing something up, and it's not my specialty to work on parent-children hierarchies like this.
The little frog whispers in your ear. Mess with
The little frog whispers in your ear.
Mess
What
with
is-
it.
What? The frog is making me do some bad things.
Make some mistakes today.
Is that true?
Is it?
You know what? No, I'm too scared. I'm not doing that.
Wuss.
I will reparent it to static meshes though, so now it can only be attached to static meshes, i.e. things that actually are statically moving. There you go. Statically moving is a weird sentence, but it makes sense in Unreal Engine terms. I don't know why they call it static meshes if they're movable. I would have an existential crisis.
Without any static electricity.
I don't know. I don't get it. Why do they call it that?
The English language has failed me once again.
Honestly, it's just weird Unreal Engine legacy terminology. Half the stuff I say is not even like real. It's just because some guy in like the 1990s decided that something was going to be named a certain way and nobody bothered changing it.
Listen to today, folks. Take criticism.
Yeah, I don't think enough people got criticized when they were making Unreal Engine.
I don't get enough people get criticized now.
Honestly, Unreal Engine is definitely one of the worser UI like engines for me. Like I find Godot a lot more intuitive. I found Unity a little easier too. But Unreal Engine kind of comes with its own like internal ecosystem. So it's like it's kind of like an Apple thing where if you're like you're in it and you get it. But if you're out of it and you start out of it, then you have to like really struggle to get in it. I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of other like software like that, and most like I know like RPG Maker kind of has that issue too. Actually, can you speak on behalf of Unreal Engine RPG Maker, Davis? Have you ever worked with that before?
I've never touched that.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair.
I can concur with Godot. It is a little, I would say, easier on my systems.
Mm-hmm.
Especially when you understand a little bit about what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I find it faster to reach a working concept in Unreal Engine.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I definitely say Unreal Engine probably has it for like the easiest prototyping experience for sure. Like I can't really say against
Absolutely.
anything. Yeah.
The problem is when the problem after making the prototype is definitely optimization because well, Unreal Engine uses a node system and it has to translate that into code, and that takes processing time. You may not notice it on like lower end games like this one, but you're definitely gonna notice it on like high end games.
Oh, this is very broken. But yeah. So I got it working pretty quickly here. I actually wanted to show it to you because this is something that just straight up wasn't possible in our game before. Hold up, let me hit the nice save button because it's not refusing this. It's refusing to save. There you go. So before in our game, only one type of input could attach to one thing at a time. So like if I wanted this to be compatible with the lever, I would only have it compatible with like this lever and maybe many other levers, but it can only do lever types. But now we can have it so that both levers and buttons can open the same gate. And we can even have them interfere with each other's outputs like this, because while this permanently stays on, this can actually toggle it back on and off. So this kind of like hybrid input system is really what's gonna, I think, make a really big difference for how our puzzling is going to be done, because how you win should be a combination of you testing out maybe 4 or so different skills each puzzle, especially in the late game. And so part of that process of helping us test you guys in many different ways is giving us many different ways of completing the game. Even though if we may not even use this combination of inputs, we may use some combination of any input in our game, which would require this system. And I believe we already have some stuff like that planned with our puzzle designers. So last and also hardest is this thing. So we're gonna try to figure out how to do the CNI now. The CNI is probably by far the most complicated tech in our game. This was one of those situations where I did really feel like I had a need to rewrite how the gate worked. Since, as you guys can see, we have some cursed code here. Not my proudest.
Where's the lady in the tramp to get all the spaghetti?
I think though, so this is actually precisely a really good example of why we needed to do the solution we had before, because everything you see here is actually a re-implementation of this, right? You can actually see the exact same nodes: open, close gate, make noise feature. It's all happening here already, so there's no reason for it to also be programmed here. But because they were originally 2 different gates, i.e. do 2 separate children, we ended up writing the same code twice, but the second time we did it worse.
How did we do it worse the second time?
That's because I wrote the first one, but didn't write the second one. We had someone else do it for the second one. Yeah, so you can see how like the communication issue kind of like compounds on that side. Well,
they lack raw vision.
For sure. So it's like the end all be all for this section is I can actually just legitimately remove all of this. This doesn't need to be in the game anymore.
I gotta say, I did like how it turned into an infinity symbol.
I know, it does look cool, right? Like, I was playing around with this earlier.
You can just tell what parts are loops from a distance because of it. It's cool, but also inefficient.
Do you know the hotkey for like putting reroute nodes down?
I think I discovered it at one point. Let me go double check.
We'll play with this later. I want to make some cursed comments in our code. But I think the code is basically now identical to our gate mover, our mesh mover code here. Not this one, this one. Yeah. In all honesty, then I can probably just delete this. Yeah, this doesn't really serve a purpose anymore. We'll get rid of all of these scene gates.
I guess you just right click and add and type in reroute on the graph.
No, I swear there was a button for this.
I shit you not. I'm looking it up right now. I don't see a hotkey. Instead of hotkey, I would recommend it.
Engine shortcut. I remember vaguely doing this.
Control. Wait, no. Double. Left mouse, middle mouse button. What? You double click the left mouse button, the middle mouse button, or both at the same time. What? Hang on, I gotta be sure.
I swear there was a hotkey for it. Doesn't matter. I'm gonna
Is it
move on.
Shift R?
You can double click on wires to make reroute nodes. That I do know that, but I'm specifically talking about just making like a reroute node. Wait, can I like drag out?
Try
No.
Shift R and left clicking on the blank area.
No, nothing.
Okay, then this is faulty information.
We've been lied to.
Is it
I know
alt
there's like a
left click?
setting that you can add to like your ini file to make it work, but that's ridiculous, and I'm not gonna edit my ini files just to add a new hotkey to the game, to the engine. Not yet,
Yeah.
at least. Not until I deem it
I'm
necessary.
exhausting all the possible things that could be. Is it alt left click?
Alt left. No.
Huh. Oh, wait. There's another one that says double left mouse, middle mouse button. I don't know what that means. Could be-
Very, very good question.
Like if you check our Discord live stream chat, you can see how it's confusing to me.
I totally get you. We're going to now steal this code. If you'll excuse me, I'm just going to insert that here. The only issue with this is that this does repair the connection. It doesn't actually fix the problem because I think our look-eye mechanics in the game are still broken. So we may need to spend some time to fix that to make sure the connection is also good. As per usual. Doing things in strange orders.
Oh, he was just telling me how to add one onto an already existing wire, and I don't think that's what you're asking for.
No.
Thank you, Internet, for nothing.
Okay, time to add this mover into here, and we'll set this to static mesh. Component. Go.
Read anything good lately?
Read anything good recently? Not read. I have seen some trailers. The summer anime is looking pretty dang good. I'm kind of yeah, like I don't typically watch anime too much anymore these days, in all honesty. But I will admit it has definitely been interesting me. There's a lot of cool stuff coming out right now, and I want to see if any of it is like, holy crap, it worked first try.
Let's go.
Okay, well, let's try. Let's try inverting the toggle mode. Oh yeah, and if I recall my eye, it'll go down. Cool.
Alright.
That's 3 basic mechanics done, and they all affect the same gate too. Yeah.
In like maybe less than the first hour.
That's honestly quite impressive. Well, there's a lot more work we need to do because now I need to add pressure plates and stuff to the game, so.
Flint and steel.
Flint and steel.
Jack Black was the only good thing that came out of that movie.
I mean, I think they knew that too.
Oh yeah. No,
I think that was very much part of the plan for them. I don't know why they wasted so much money. I feel like they could have made way more money if they just like cheaped out a little bit on the animation and sold for something more like what we would actually consider normal Minecraft animation. Element animation style.
Well, shareholders not understanding the art.
You'd think it was a shareholder thing? Like the shareholders like, we gotta make it like a hyper real. Like we have to like tune up the graphics to the point where like it looks like a Disney, like a really bad Disney live action like remake.
Yeah, no, they put a lot of the budget on big Hollywood names to sell more copies of tickets. Because
Yeah,
you're
well,
not gonna
but
go see a movie if you know the actor.
Well, the issue is they spent almost an equal amount of money, right, on like the actual animation quality and CG effects.
Which is the problem. It's an equal amount of money for 5 people.
Yeah, it's like it's stupid.
And
Like
you
I guess they just thought. I guess if they thought if they just poured more money into it, it would be better. And like this, and the studios they gave it to, they were like, okay, well, we got to make use of the money. So, I guess we'll just turn everything up to like 12.
The problem with giving studios more money that don't like source genuinely good voice actors for stuff, or like people that are meant for those roles, is that they're going to spend it on high budget actors that are well known because they want to be well known. It's rough because there are some actors out there that are good voice actors, but there are some actors out there that have no idea how to voice act.
That is unfortunately true. I'm reminded of, so there was a review I watched on Marvel's What If series. This is probably like 4 or 5 years ago now. Yeah, the Marvel's What If series is pretty old now, but it was their first season, and they hired a lot of new voice actors to replay or to recast all the roles that were there, like Doctor Strange and whatever, right?
Of course.
But I remember this specifically as them recasting specifically Bucky's original live action actor from the MCU as the voice actor for Bucky in the What If series. And people very very harshly critiqued his performance during the What If series, because it was just like a jarring contrast, because it's clear that he is not used to voice acting. Or if he is used to voice acting, he hasn't voice acted for nearly long enough to compete against the other cast that were like longtime voice actors.
It's definitely it's definitely a situation where you're stuck in a room with people that have done it before, and not only are you competing against them to like be a good voice actor, you're being actively compared by the audience in live time. Against them, so they can hear all of your faults.
Yeah, and honestly, his performance was subpar, but it wasn't such a big deal because I believe he played a minor role too. It was just the fact that I think he was having a conversation with a professional voice actor, and so like it would basically flip between like this like super like high octane, very emotional performance to this very like flat, monotone, emotionless performance. And the contrast, it wasn't even like his performance being bad, it was just the contrast of where they put his voice in the story and in the animation that really like ruined it for some people. Because like I remember when I had seen it, because the video, the critique had made me so curious. Like I had watched the What If series because of the critique, just to go to that scene and see if it actually jarred me. And it did. It did actually jar me. So they did actually like prove the point, at least for me, that there was a good reason why you hire or recast like voice acting roles and you don't like just try to put a name on something. Even though like in all honesty, like Bucky's actor is not that bad. Like I saw him in Thunderbolts recently as well. Like his actor is pretty dang good. It's just that
they're good with acting with their face and their body. Voice, it's like the voice is like secondary. It's something you have to actively train for.
Mm-hmm. So it's definitely one of those things where they just really did him dirty.
Yeah, it's rough, but it's kind of why I like Marvel Rivals right now, because they have gotten the historic voice actors for different characters, and they're all slaying. Especially Steve Downs' Wolverine. God, I love that voice.
That's pretty fair. Pretty fair.
Yeah, it doesn't sound the same when you hear Hugh Jackman.
Oh, it doesn't. It really doesn't. Sometimes, like, it's really, like, the entirety of their performance that does it. Right? Like, I know, like, some people argue all the time that Hugh Jackman can only play Wolverine, that he has, like, only one kind of character that he can do. Right?
Oh, yeah. He plays other characters. I've seen him.
Like...
Yeah. When he's not doing an American accent, he can definitely do a voice acting, but it's just... I don't think anybody's asked him to do an American accent for voice acting.
Oh, for sure. And it's weird. So, have you seen like speaking of like English or like American accents? Have you seen like the Hugh Laurie like documentary for House?
No, I have not.
So basically the casting, they had this whole like documentary on how they casted House for House. Are you familiar with House MD?
I am familiar with that shit show that is Malpractice.
Yeah. Medical accuracy aside, it was a very good drama acted out and kind of carried by Hugh Laurie's performance.
Oh yeah, no, it had me hooked for like the first 2 seasons. But it
oh
was
yeah,
still
no. I mean, I saw like a retrospective on it. They actually did like, I think they did such good global sales. They were like #1, I think, for season 2 or like season 1 or something in the world for like most watched television. Right? I think it was just for a year, but they were really, really popular for good reason. I mean, House is good drama. It's not good medical advice.
Yeah, I think it's good for like casual audiences that don't dig deep.
Yeah, for sure.
And then of course the age of the internet rose up, and now people have to dig deep when they like something.
So it's like the main thing I actually wanted to talk about was his casting for the role of Hugh Laurie as House was crazy, because if you've heard his actual normal accent, it's wild how different it is.
Oh yeah, no,
like
he was the Roach Doctor in Monsters vs. Aliens.
Right, it's crazy because it's like He's like
Yeah.
two different people. He can just like pivot. I can't imagine how long it took him to practice that like such a clean American accent. I just thought he was
It's
American.
interesting.
Yeah, because I only
Yeah,
ever
no,
saw him
he's-
with House. So
Yeah, no, he definitely sounds American, and then you see him like other media, and they have him in his British voice, and it's just whoa.
yeah. There's a
Whiplash.
song I want to play, but I can't play it on stream because I might get copyrighted.
What's the song?
Hugh Laurie sang a song on his channel. You can actually go to Hugh Laurie's YouTube channel, but he sang a song called "Unchain My Heart," and that's the first time I ever heard his voice as a non-American.
Oh,
And he did a really good performance too. He did it like a formal like studio where like the Beatles performed in the UK. So he actually like rented out a studio to sing it, and the singing wasn't that bad. It was actually pretty good.
yeah. But getting somebody that knows how to voice act does matter. But unless you're a consumer or somebody that loves the process, if you're like a shareholder, you're not gonna care about that. You just care about the numbers at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm. That's what really sucks
When I
about
say
it too.
shareholder, it's more like investors for film.
Mm-hmm.
But still, it's still the same effect as a shareholder. It's like you got to make a profit off of it.
Oh, what the hell?
Oh, what happened?
No, I'm confused. I have no idea how this works. I didn't code this. I've been trying to read it because the next
Hang
step
on,
forward
hang on.
for
Is that a scroll up? That is a node. That's two nodes that are going to the front of that. Oh my god.
of this thing, yeah, it's a gate. So basically, when the look eye is currently under cooldown, it'll close the gate so that it won't process any more information. And then after a short activation cooldown delay, so that the eye isn't constantly being like activated every tick, it'll turn it back on and open the
I'm very
gate so
sure
that
that
the
it
Venta
works.
can run
It's
through.
just visually, it's
Yeah. It is a bit of a mess. Although, technically, because it isn't connected, we can do something like this, which is what I was planning on doing to begin with. Like so. Then we can just move
yeah,
this.
and it's yeah. Did you write
Becomes-
those? Because there's not a lot of comments on it.
This one I did partially right. I'm just forgetting what I did, but yeah, it's completely uncommented. Let's I guess start by commenting it so I can try to figure out what I've done here. So, cool down activator slash.
Yeah, we gotta get our people used to commenting. And also going back and putting comment on the older code too.
Switch modes. And also, this has annoyed me for long enough. This is actually inverted. There you go. There you go. It looks ugly, but this is the way that it is supposed to be done. There you go. And we'll move this down. The main reason why this code is so complicated is because whether you're in toggle mode or in non-toggle mode, the behavior of the eye completely changes.
Yeah.
Like this is the short one where it's just if you're looking at it, it'll be active, and if it isn't active, then it turns off. This is the other one where it has like a cooldown that it loops through. It's actually what it's currently set to, I believe. Or wait, I might have inverted it. But if you see that like little thing there, so there's like a little charge animation as you look at it, and if you look at it for long enough, it turns on and activates permanently.
Ah, yes.
Mm-hmm. That's what that's what the top piece of code is for here. My question is, how is this actually activated? Is it because I have a being seen being set to true?
I
Is this rotation
I-
checker doing anything? It isn't.
I don't have enough back-end knowledge to answer that.
I know. The
It's
fact
for
that
fraud,
I
man.
don't know is a little alarming. But what I do know is that there is a mechanism at which it is detecting when it is being seen, and it's not through our interfaces.
Yeah, I'm just a small frog that croaks, whispers, and dreams into your ear, man. I don't know much about this stuff.
You dream into my ear? That's a little weird. How do you dream into my ear? Oh. Ah. My bad. My bad.
I didn't know what to say, so I just hit the ribbon.
Yeah, you really cornered yourself on that one. My bad. But no, this would make a good short if you want to clip this for future. Not this documentation thing, which we can also talk about. I think that's honestly, we've gotten enough footage to talk about documentation at this point. But like working on untangling wires. I'll do the easier one. I actually do want to do at least one more. I'm just figuring out whether I want to do
Electrician.
as an electrician. I will most certainly die. I will stick a fork in an outlet as an electrician and die.
Even though the job is partially untangling wires.
No. I'll walk into somebody's home. I'll be like, trust me, I'm an electrician. I know what I'm doing. And then I stick a fork in an outlet.
The owner's like in the other room and the house just shorts out all of a sudden.
I'm like, don't worry. I know what I'm doing. Do not fear. For I am
And then,
here.
and then when you walk in the other room, you just hear.
You know how it goes. Frogs are very conductive of electricity.
Well, yeah, frogs are wet.
I would know. I've been conducting electricity all my life.
I thought you were gonna say that you were wet all your life.
I can't answer that question. I don't take questions anymore. No comment.
Okay.
No comment. No comment. In other news, I do want to make a pressure plate. I'm just thinking how I'm gonna do it.
Unfortunately, I won't be here for that. I gotta go.
All right. Thank you for joining. Thank you.
No problem.
Good luck. Also, before you leave, let
yeah.
me know when the interviews are happening.
Yes, I will talk to Scott about that. I think he said he was a little confused about when you set a schedule. Did he send you a message about that?
He has sent me nothing. I've received nothing.
I gotta talk to Scott then.
I will answer questions as needed, but I have not received any questions, so I cannot provide any answers.
Understood. I'll talk to him later today then.
Okay.
Alright. You guys have a good stream.
Alright, thank you. Oh, that guy's out of here. Let's do some mischief. My caretaker is gone, which means I get to do things on stream unchained. I just don't really know what to do with that kind of power, so we're just gonna keep programming. Let's make a simple pressure plate, I'm thinking. So this actually requires starting from scratch. BP E pressure plate. If we turn it into an acronym, it's just BPPP, you know? That's hilarious, actually. Let's grab a cube. Let's build out the basic shape of this. Base plate and mover. We'll have 2 plates. This is what I imagine in my head when I think of pressure plate. Obviously, our artists are probably gonna most certainly change it. But this will definitely do for now. Let's come up with something quickly that I can put on here to make it look nice. I'm thinking very colorful and pretty, but not exactly what we want. Let's try something metallic or stone based. I don't want it to blend in with the ground, but I also don't want it to confuse the player. So maybe we're gonna need to play a little bit of games here to figure out which one's which. Let's try rock. No, that's definitely not gonna work. Let's just do metal. Metal trim. Do I have other colors here? Nope. Yeah, where's the shot? Those all make it clear anyways. Next thing we're gonna need to add is a little box collision. So, and we're gonna probably have it as a very small area up here. And it will be constrained. So make a little sandwich, a little pressure plate sandwich. And I think I just have to depress the pressure plate. So we'll make a little animation for that too. Okay, let's start with the basic detection first. So boxes have an internal property we can use called component begin and component end overlap. We're just gonna leverage that to make something real nice real quick for us. And I believe just about anything can be used as something to weigh on a pressure plate. But maybe we want to be able to tag things that can put weight on pressure plates. Or static mesh. So if it's a capsule or a static mesh, it can collide with it and cause it to activate this. And then I guess we're gonna need to make a new code for inputting out. How do we do it over here? Or our actual What are the possible outputs? These things is what our outputs are definitely going to be then. Scene eye activated. Reset look. Okay, so we'll just need to make some custom event dispatchers then. So we'll make an event dispatcher called pressure plate activated. So, and we can call that whenever we want. So it'll probably be something like this. Obviously, this code is very rudimentary and simple. This will introduce a lot of problems specifically with activation timing. We don't want a door just to open the second there's a frame where there's something is entered. You want to give it a little cooldown, give time for the animation to depress, and then for the door to open. So there's a clearer sequence of events for communication, and also to prevent people from abusing the system by just like lightly clipping something to the side of the pressure plate. You need to have something for a long period of time in the pressure plate for it to work. And I would go as far as maybe even using a physics object, right? Like you need to weigh 50 pounds and then the pressure plate will detect that. And if there's at least 50 pounds on the pressure plate, it'll activate. But that'll be a little bit too abstract for our game, or a little too specific for our game, since our game is inherently extremely magical. Instead, I'm just going to use a simple cooldown to prevent them from just like kind of clipping the side or corner of the pressure plate and activating the entire, or solving the entire puzzle from that. So we're gonna get a little timeline. I think I'm not gonna make this any more than maybe 0.2 seconds. We've been trying to use 0.2 as kind of our general rule of thumb for how long some animations should take, although we'll obviously adjust it as we go. Then this is going to be corrected to 0.2, and then we have curve that we can set here to make it look a little more even. So now once this is played from start or stop, which we can do, we'll basically just have our mover go a little down and then go a little up. So set actor location, sorry, set relative location. There you go. And then from the track we created earlier, we're just gonna grab a nice ease. So the starting point is going to be where it's currently at 0, 0, and its ending point is going to be a little depressed than that. So probably we do 2. We'll do negative. We'll do negative 2. So might exaggerate it later, but basically when the animation's finished, then we can call pressure plate activated, and then we can just attach both of these to the same place like so. Okay, well, that's pretty simple. Let's put that in our world. Cool. Now we just need to do the inverse of this. And reverse from end. So if the player or object ever leaves the area of the pressure plate, there you go. So it'll prevent people from just abusing the system like this and activating it whenever they want. Cool. And we'll probably have the pressure plate glow, is what I'm thinking. Converting over to that bright green. Yeah, we'll need to improve the clarity on this a bit, and we'll also need to add sound effects to it, so this is definitely far from done. But at least for now, we'll send this over. Because it's both... Oh, actually, wait. We don't want to open... Because this thing activates... This should activate only when this is working here. And there should be a toggle for turning it back off as well. Pressure plate deactivated. So it's more of a toggle thing. Ooh. I'm getting like deja vu right now. I swear I've programmed this specific mechanic before. And I know I think I'm making a mistake. Oh, I think I figured it out. So I remember the last time I did this, I used gates because I actually wanted to drop the input if they had left the pressure plate before the cooldown was finished. But this is actually going to get way more complicated and ugly to look at, unfortunately. But I'll be able to do this to at least make it look readable for people. So, and people being, in this case, the other toads that work on this, don't want to just give them garbage and expect them to work with that well. Here you go. So we'll have a delay of 0.2 to activate, enter this gate. And it does get instantly opened. But if they ever leave, then it will get instantly closed back up. So they won't be able to trigger the pressure plate activated. Oh, I already have that here. So basically what will happen is that 0.2 second delay is going to start when they step on the pressure plate. But if they leave before that delay is up, it'll close this gate right as the delay finishes, preventing this from getting activated. So they can't just violently turn gates on and off. It will automatically correct itself. And it won't activate until it's been stood on for the entire duration of the 0.2 seconds. And I think what I'm going to do is probably even increase this further to 0.5, just so that we can very much mechanically force people to stand on it for a long period of time. We'll need to adjust this most certainly in testing, but at least for here, I'm going to just remember this. Cooldown, remember to modify timeline for balancing. There we go. So I'll remember and I'll pin this too. We'll start commenting this once I actually can complete all this. And then pressure plate deactivated will activate you regardless. Because the second they leave, it should always just let go. Then we'll get rid of this pin. Hopefully that's enough. Let's grab another base plate real quick. And we'll call this the glow plate. Because I want to make the pressure plate glow. Now the only problem is the only material I can use is this. I'll need a clone. That was the eye highlight. This is gonna just be a generic highlight. And we'll get rid of the overlay. There you go. Perfect. And we can just use the generic highlight for this. There you go. And now it'll glow green. The only thing we'll need to do from here is make this non-visible. And only make it visible when it's activated. And then obviously the second the pressure plate ever gets deactivated, we'll also make it invisible again. Like so. And now why is it? That's Z fighting? Why it looks so ugly? Whatever. If it looks ugly, we'll fix it later. It's not really supposed to look cosmetically nice anyways. Just supposed to be functionally clear. Yeah, that's what I want. Cool. Nice, 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 nice. Cool. Now that I got that, I just need to make a connector for it that'll connect to this thing. Since there's only one pressure plate that really should be accessible at a time. We might make a hub consolidator if we want to have multiple of these out at once, but we could also just change our component to support it as well, so it's not going to be super big of an issue. I'm thinking maybe there is one higher level step of automation we can do here, but I don't want to work on that if it's not necessary for us. So I won't do it at all, because I think that's funny. Okay, well, let's figure out a way to connect it to this gate too, so they can all access the same thing. Hold up, it's a little hot in here. I'll change this to a reusable button. And then you are going to be toggle mode so people can test that out. That's definitely not intended. Okay, that's pretty generous. We don't want it to be so difficult that it's gonna be impossible to do, so. We'll need to fix the lever's rotation is actually still bad too. I'm not sure if you guys noticed that earlier. This is exactly how I remember Portal actually programming their pressure plates, so. We'll probably need to modify it for that purpose. Although this has definitely been hit before, so. Cool though. Anyways. Let's make a new component. Blueprints, components, mover component. Also move the... We'll need to rename this too. I forgot to rename it. ACP scene I underscore mesh mover. There we go. And then I think it's just as simple as changing this. So this uses our new pressure plate object reference, change variable type. And we're gonna rechange this to pressure plate. There you go. And because this no longer works, we're gonna need to do pressure plate into bind plate activated, bind pressure plate deactivated, because this is a toggle switch. And we'll just basically be translating that into our custom event here. Not that. Create custom. There we go. This will be open, and this will be return to 0. That is the wrong thing. Turn to 0. It's not typing. Oh. This is a very bad time for Unreal Engine to crash. No. Oh, we're good. Let's save. There you go. Oh, I just can't use that because it's already being used elsewhere. Close. Okay. There we go. Passing that information just verbatim like this, I think should be enough to activate the gate, at least for debugging purposes. This is by no means full code, but let's rename this to pressure plate Mesh mover. Oh crap, I forgot to attach something to it. Pressure plate mover. This pressure plate. And play. And now... Nice. Cool. Looks like we got a really nice process for this now. But if I like bounce it super hard? Nice. If I recall it, it goes away. That is very cool. We'll probably need to use a smaller cross section is what I'm thinking though. Because there's really a small area where the pressure plate really should be considered colliding. We don't want an eye that's slightly hovering above it to register. Something like this would probably be more accurate. Although it's a lot more strict. So yeah, that funny. All right. Well, that's good progress. Got move our inputs back in. We got a new input in. I want to work on the statue next. Ooh. We do got to deal with half opening stuff like that though. We'll use a retriggerable delay to make sure that we're consuming any sporadic inputs. It will delay the output further, but it'll help us avoid that animation issue we were running into. So what if we just walk over the gate now? And I think what we can also do on the gate side to make this a little nicer is we don't have to do play from start, we can just do play. And we can just do, I think we can do play from all of these, and I don't think it'll cause too much issue, but who knows. That does break it a bit, I will admit, and it is kind of funny how it snaps up and down, but it's definitely not the solution we were looking for. I think it's just because everybody's stepping on top of each other during the course of this section. We'll need a way to get the gate to like stop midway and then go up and or down. So we'll need to work around with the animation system for the mesh mover. It's not completely done yet, but it is functionally done. The rest is just gonna be aesthetic changes that we're probably gonna be messing around with till then. Here, I'm probably gonna go for a quick break, eat some snacks, And then we'll move on to the latter part of what we're going to be doing today, which is modifying our landscape for our hub world. So you guys will get to see our hub world a little bit, a little sneak peek behind the scenes between how that's done. But we will be showing you a stripped down version of it so you guys don't get spoiled or anything like that. So you guys won't get to see any of the cool landmarks just yet. We'll just be doing it purely for testing purposes. But before then, gotta go on a little break. So I'll see you guys in just a few minutes. Hee Like, stream.
Sounds good.
Alrighty. We are back. We are back in business. Okay. So, Josh has returned as well, so very good timing. We're actually going to be working on materialing today for our hub world. So, if you wanted to talk materialing for the time we got left, I'm actually kind of down.
Yeah. I am down to
Chilling.
materialing. If you're going to
Mhm.
be working on a material, then I can just absorb some knowledge, ask some questions.
Absorb.
As I will be doing the same.
All right, back to business. Let's get the music set up again. Keep accidentally disconnecting my music player. I actually have like a physical music player that I use for the stream. Oh, I should share it like on camera. That'd be cool.
Dox yourself.
Yeah, and dox myself. In that order. Here, let's get this set up. I want to listen to some chillin' music. There you go. There you go. And we'll do. There you go. And we'll just do some normal regular ass music. Alrighty, back to what I was doing. So we have a really cool level created by our level designer Ryan. You guys saw it at the beginning of the stream, but I'll get to show it to you guys again. Basically, we have this really nice large hub world level that we will be showing off today and kind of working on. You guys can actually even see the palette I worked on down here on stream. But the goal for this section is we actually need everything to be visible, because right now when you actually play the game, hit play on the game real quick, you kind of have this look to it, which looks pretty cool, but it's not the easiest to look at. It doesn't really capture the scale really well, and we lose a lot of information that our level designer worked on. This is our old kind of post process, I guess, for our game. So we're gonna be trying to adjust that a bit. So first things first, we're actually gonna.
Is this the rendering field?
It's a post-process fog system. Yeah, there's a depth buffer that's happening that's being configured in real time to create this fog effect as you're moving around. Let's move and get rid of this. This is a lot closer to what we actually want in our game. But as you can see, there's definitely some differences. I'm gonna temporarily get rid of this just so that we have a very pure version of this level. So this was the original shader used for our tutorial, while the other one was a shader just used for our inner dungeon areas. So we have a few options to start off with. What I want to do is I want to have a lot more control over what is seen. So you can kind of see how we can kind of see most of everything in this quadrant. We only get access to this much of the level at once. So I was thinking we should be able to see most of it, but it should be all obscured by something else. Not necessarily a fog, maybe like a forest or an overhang or an archway or something along those lines that really gives this area a nice visual break and doesn't have us relying so much on this fog effect to make everything look nice. So I think the first thing we're going to do is we're going to push back the fog. We're going to try to get it as far back as we can. Maybe still have it active for like the farthest areas of the level. But I want to see at least 2/3 of this area all the way down to the bottom down there from where I stand here to give cool spectacle to our players later on. So with that in mind, let's go do some adjustments. So I believe this is built off of a few post-process settings. This post-process materials. This is built out of 3, not 4. Let's get rid of this one. So let's go pull up all those individually so we have access to all of it. And then the last one I believe is the Huahara filter that I made. So we're going to be trying to work in conjunction with each other on this. And the first thing, let's add wind. I do want to have wind here. So let's grab some wind direction. There you go. So first of all, what direction does is only certain faces are going to be affected well by the fog or by the gradient of color. And then we're going to need to use some height fade as well, I think. We'll turn both of these on. There you go. So now you can kind of see the top. And then wind is my favorite. We'll add some wind here. Gradient distance. This is what I want. So we'll mess with the gradient distance here. So we have a horizon line again, which is what we want. And that horizon line shouldn't be visible from where they stand. There you go. And we'll delete. Actually, we'll just make this invisible for now. Hidden in game. There you go. So when I hit play. Yeah, so the warbling of the landscape is now meshing with the wind that's happening to actually kind of amplify.
Yeah.
And the reveal looks like I got closer, so we can actually adjust this now in real time. So here's the value set to, like, I can just show this off. If I crank this number up, you'll see how I can see a little farther in certain distances. which is much closer to actually what I want. So the farthest parts are still glowing, but now we can make out kind of the ebbs and flows of this landscape. Feels very dreamlike, right?
Should I
Thinking,
move the fog closer?
you want the fog to be a little closer?
Yeah.
Like that?
A little bit further. I think like around the landmark.
It's pretty cool. And
I think
then
where it starts to like taper out and like meet would be pretty cool, like it is now. But that's just the saturation. It's-
no, this is a. This adds more steps to the distancing.
oh,
You can see how it's spreading out the gradient. Actually, the lower I set this, the earlier the gradient will start. Same with this one. But I don't want it to start anywhere near the player. Although I kind of want to have it start very close to the player. What are your thoughts on the color spill too? Kind of like a
I mean, this almost looks more like what I imagine the moon would be like than what I imagine a dream would be like.
well, yeah, well, because there's not really terrain in the game yet, so it just looks like a crater. But the idea is that we're
really?
gonna cover the area in forests and actually make it look like a physical space. But it's not really
Oh, yeah,
supposed to
yeah.
look super real either.
I was talking about like the darker hues of like the browns and the oranges. It's like on this top level with you. That's what I was talking about.
So there's a custom source position that I can configure. What does that mean?
Look behind you. Anything behind you?
No, nothing. None of that's changed. Also, we have like, would you consider this sunlight? Because it's like this side's like black, this side is like bright.
Yeah, I guess I consider like. I guess we need a moon now. With a few moons, that'd be pretty fun.
We can just have the eye.
Yeah, I think we just had like a huge eye. In both the sun and in the moon. That'd be really funny. If we had like two eyes. And so we really have like the eyes of the whole.
What's annoying me is you can set the wind direction and scale using a vector 4, which is portrayed in color. But this tells me nothing because I don't actually know what direction green is.
I'm moving the value up instead of that 0.01.
like that?
Oh, okay.
Turn up the wind. The wind scale's already like really maxed out. Are you noticing a difference in wind? Really?
Yes. Oh, that's sick. That's way too much, but that's sick as hell.
There you go. So now you can see the wind. Oh, actually, let's just crank the crap out of this up so you can clearly see it, and we'll turn off the wind for this section. We only have one kind of wind here. Yeah, I think the wind flowing in that direction. I want it to guide the player from where they stand to where the tower is. So let's change the rotation until we get what we want. I think I inverted it.
You almost want it to be like going from where the player starts into the landmark.
So I wanted to like turn diagonally, but I'm actually not sure if that's possible.
What about the saturation? Does that do anything? Or that's not.
If I turn down the value, it becomes slower. Which means I'm guessing it's using less of the max wind strength.
Is it affected by a roll position or local position?
Oh, I think we found it.
It's like a Susano in like Naruto. Not Susano, it looks like the there's two arbitrars.
This is so cool, by the way. This is just so
Well,
sick.
If you wanted abstract, there you go. Curse mark. Holy shit. Looks like the curse mark. But it spreads out.
Actually, like this look a lot. This one.
Yeah, this looks like wave-like.
And then like once you actually tone down the winds.
I think when you this looks foggy, but it looks brighter.
I like that. I really do.
Yeah.
Hold up. Let's get rid of this custom source position shit. Oh. So clearly there's something happening here too.
I see things, or is there like a tiny hue within the shadows?
There is a tiny hue within the shadows.
Like minimal, but it's there.
Huh.
Is there a way you can like literally go within the code and multiply it by itself and crank it up basically?
Like the Q? The gradient?
Yeah, so you can actually like see the. I guess that doesn't really matter so much.
I recommend you can play with this on your own time as well if you want. Gradient.
What's the name of it?
Huahara. No, sorry, hold up. This one's called MI Fog Forest 3.
Am I wrong?
Fog Forest.
I see it. Oh my god, now I touched this. I really-
We do need to turn down that strength though. Hmm. Weird, funky patterns. My brain is honestly very amused by this.
Congrats.
You can also change the palette if you want as well. We have an Atlas row here that hue shifts the entire palette towards a certain direction. I'm thinking this like orange-ish color is probably going to be pretty good. Oh, frick. Okay, that's bright. There you go. I do also really like the purple. Very customizable, right? It looks very nice. Well, I'll start with this just because I need something to work with before I can move on. And then I'm thinking, do you think I could just make like the skybox like one of those do you remember our paper system?
Yeah, guess. I
Do you think?
don't know about that.
I don't know about that either.
I think you could fake it, you know? But just making this guy box of paper, I'm not sure if that would work.
But we have options. We have
Try
options.
it.
Hold on.
I think it'd be easier to fake it than it would be to make it, you know? Yeah, you picking up what I'm putting down?
What do you think about this gradient over here? I'm gonna completely customize this. This is something that I've spent an unfortunate amount of time with.
They can scrap it. Wait. Like that. Make it more.
There is the... This is what I'm looking for. Where is my settings? Cloud opacity.
Oh, if you just make it like super cloudy, then yeah.
The fog messed with the sky sphere is making some really cool effects in our world.
I don't want to make like a inky like VFX that kind of swirls around this like landscape area that goes into the clouds. That would be sick.
Trial and error, Josh. Trial and error. There you go. Because I want that. Is it rotating above me?
Yeah, it is. The whole sphere is rotating.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you can move the clouds up so that way the clouds that are rotating like covers the sky a little bit more, that'd be good.
I can't move the sky physically up, I believe. Oh, I can. Well, you can see the horizon if I do that, but from here,
Nice.
I can also just lessen the opacity of the clouds.
No, I was gonna like make it higher.
That?
Yeah.
Need to turn down the brightness though.
You're right.
Hmm. Definitely slow down the speed of the. It's a little dizzying. Honestly, I can turn off the outline filter for this to just make it like a watercolor painting. Hmm.
This is also really tough for a render pipeline.
What's our frame rate right now? Oops, not what I wanted to do. Very volatile, this frame rate. My graphics settings. Oh, that's cute. We're getting high FPS, but that's not really what I want. We do want to observe the highest possible resolution. We are not playing at an accurate size. Unfortunately, this scales, so... My performance is actually better with it native, so it isn't downscaling. Let's turn off the outline. I don't usually like to do this, but it also will save us some compute power. I do want to see if we can realize what our artists wanted from the get-go for this game. Also, I'm just curious to see what'll happen. Urahara outline list, and we're going to now make and attach this to here, and then we're just going to turn off the outlines. Oh. Oop. For the normal outlines too, and so we just have a pure Uehara filter. Well, we can up the rotation, Josh, if you want. Ooh. Kind of want to record this actually. Let's see if I can get clip in here. I messed it up. I messed it up. Oh, did it actually work? Cool. Well, we'll get to share that with the group later. Be posting that in the Discord group. So, for this section specifically, I have just disabled the outline effect, turned up the resolution to the native one, so that this is kind of what you more or less experience in the game. I do like the dream effect of it, I will admit. That like dreamy magical effect of this shader really lends itself to what we want. And honestly, the frame rate right now is pretty decent too. As long as I'm not moving around too fast and having the screen kind of tweak out. We'll try a bunch of other stuff out. I think we have some other options as well that I kind of want to try. Let me see if I can find this. Let us try Mixer. Okay. Nothing should be too different. But if I go into here and modify the modify dark ink, have it enable Custom depth right. I should be able to access some very, very old code in our game. Oh, hello, Jenny. What's up? I'm doing pretty good. We're working on some materialing today. I got this done. We have a nice hub world planned for you guys, and so we're figuring out how we're gonna meld a few artistic styles together. So we're kind of like doing some art wandering today, which happens to look very visually nice. And I was going to play around with it a little bit more because there's something I wanted to try in our game. Yep. How does that look in our game? Ooh, it is a bit obscured, but it does look nice. Outline is a little harsh. I don't think it's meant to be used on something this big. But it does look quite nice. There's some visual graphics. Oh, there's definitely some glitching issues happening there. But that does look quite good. Oh, my model? No. I got this online. But I did modify the crap out of it. I had a friend help me reprogram the model and add some new features to it. But this artwork wasn't originally mine. I'll need to put that. I think I should have a link to that I can post in the description of this live stream later. But yes, in some of the beta versions of our game, this is actually something we haven't really shown to many people. So this is honestly a first time show on our live stream. But we've been working on this paper shader. Initially, it was meant for small things, like little vases on the ground that kind of look like paper. But we ended up scrapping it, even though it was already production ready for us, just because we couldn't find a good reason to have it in our game. So I've been trying to find good excuses to use it, not that I've been able to find any, mind you. I've been relatively unsuccessful at trying to convince our artists to use this shader. We even have this thing, which is a flip shader. There you go. But yeah, overall, I don't think it's gonna fit for this without some major adjustments, which I may make. Hold up, let's play around with that. Maybe there are some adjustments that I can make to this to make it look nice. Because the outline, I think, is a little too big for my liking. Oh, I have been streaming not super long. We started streaming around the middle of July, so we haven't been streaming for super duper long. But we have been working on the game for quite a while. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't like that. Let's shrink that. Mixer. This game we've been working on for a good 4.5 months now, a little bit more. We're approaching our 5th month now, but we're gonna try to finish it in the next few days or so. Or not next few days, sorry, next few months or so. Sorry, our game is nowhere near completed. Although we've made a lot of good progress on it. Let's shrink these outlines. I don't like how thick those lines are, so we're gonna be playing around with that. Ooh. Wrote this a really long time ago, and I definitely didn't document it as well as I should have, so... That's really clean. Oh, that's really clean, though. Oh, we haven't really properly set up our overlays yet. I honestly am struggling right now getting it working properly. There's like software I was talking, because I've been working with a live streamer who has gotten like all of this set up, but we haven't really had a good opportunity to test most of it out, and I don't think we have everything properly connected back there. So we'll probably have a stream sometime next week where I just sit down and try to get all that fixed, because I definitely want to have all of that stuff in. I'm just more of a programmer than a streamer, so I don't really know too much on how to do it. Yeah, I do apologize for that if there have been people who've been subscribing and stuff. And we're also around the same time also planning to open up like a donation box for people to give money as well, since we can use those funds to improve our game. But it'll still be a little bit until we can do it, since we're still figuring stuff out. Ideally next week. I really like those lines, but I don't like how much they're swaying in the wind, I will admit. I think the thickness is fine now. Let's improve our hatching system. Okay, which of these settings does what? I'm just trying to get the hatching to show up. Oh! There it is. Let's grab a light. Why don't I go for a live 2D, because that's super popular in the VTubing community. Oh, like, do you, sorry, I think I might be misunderstanding what you're saying. Do you mean, like, us streaming in the VTubing category? What is, because when I hear live 2D, I'm thinking of, like, the software, like, VTube Studio, which is what I'm using for live streaming, like, my little frog here. Is that what you mean, or do you mean, like, actually, like a Twitch channel? Yeah. So I am using VTube Studio for like modeling, or for like rigging my model and stuff like that. I mean, I even have like presets and emotes here too. So, this is a 2D model. This isn't like a 3D model or anything like that. I can actually even turn off the filter if you want to see it. I have a lot of stuff on it to make it look like it's 3D, but it's the opposite. So this is like what it would normally look like without any of the filters. But it is a 2D rig. And I'm just making it look 3D moving around. Also, it doesn't help that Unreal Engine is like sapping all of the compute power from my VTubing software. So it looks like a slideshow when I'm actually editing like Here you guys can see like a close up. Like it's actually fairly smooth and nice, but when I tab into like Unreal Engine, it just can like slowly die sometimes, and there's not really much I can do about it because it's just simply my computer getting a little overwhelmed. So I tend to like switch to scenes that I can actually use the full model for. It is a little broken, I will admit, just a little bit broken. But it's just because my computer isn't quite there yet. I might switch to live streaming, or at least having my stream computer be a separate computer, so it takes a little bit more load off my graphics card and lets me like have better frame rate when I'm programming. But Unreal Engine is also, if you couldn't tell, quite difficult for my computer to run, especially with all these settings and effects happening on the screen at once. Don't have too much time left, but I do want to try to see if I can get a directional light here. Because I always struggle with the hatching because it requires a very specific kind of light level. Just blow out. Let's blow up the light real quick. It does look a little ugly, but I just want to experiment with this. I don't like that one. There you go. Then we'll add a nice diagonal hatching. Turn down the hatching thickness. Boom! Then we can just turn this off now so I can... Cool! Now I have a little texture to it. Pretty cool. So now, like, kind of close up, you can kind of see the texture of the tower. Very, very nice. Very nice. Kind of looks like it was poster boarded on. Very, very cool. I did break the illusion a bit with the background effect, so I might mess around with that. Okay, looks like it didn't really like that too much. We'll just turn that off. Paper, source color. I don't like the leakage. It was good for another project that I had, but I might get rid of it entirely. Hold up. Probably get rid of that just by using an alternative version of the mixer. Connect. that. Applies to the whole screen. Let's do... Ooh. Let's try that. Yeah. On my frog, I got a few emotes. I like this emote. I got little stars here. Let me switch over. There you go. No more lag. No more. So I got the Angie. Hold up. Let's just zoom in. I got the Angie. And then I got sad. If I'm big sad. Oh, don't mean to touch that one. If I'm big sad. And then I got this one. There's this one. This one means all sorts of things for me. I use it all the time. Usually I use it when I'm cooked and I'm like very late into a development stream. I just kind of get a little dizzy. And then we got this one, excited one. And then we got this one, little hearts. I like a vibe around it. This one's really nice. But we actually have more we're working on. And so those will be a surprise. But we wanted to have at least a few good emotes to work with while we were hanging around. But those are all the ones that I can show you guys for now. The rest are secrets. Yes. Thank you, Jenny. I've been meaning to show this off. I've been very excited about it. Thank you. We've had this planned out for a really, really long time. And we had thought about ways we could have done it. Our studio's name is Final Croak, so we kind of have like a lot of like frog stuff happening at any given moment in time. And so we thought it'd be a cool idea as well to have a VTuber kind of like mascot for our company, since I wanted to do live streaming on behalf of our studio. So we ended up doing that, and it was really fun. And I've really been enjoying live streaming our development because it's been giving me something to do while also programming. And it also just lets me put plans together better so I can be more entertaining for you guys while I'm also programming. Yeah. Go back to chilling. But I do appreciate it. Thank you very much. Put this here. Oh. Yeah, that's definitely not what I wanted. That is really cool though. It's almost like a paper sensor bar. I don't think I'm gonna ever use it like that, but let's switch this out. And we'll probably move this around, but since we're just experimenting for now, let's turn on all the features that I want to use. Oh. Recalculating. Okay, so we're back to there. There's our hatching. Let's mess with the rotation to make it diagonal. There you go. Mess with the outlines. Let's make them... There you go. Do I like that better? The outline is not visible as well. That's also an issue. Is like we've kind of lost that shape around the tower. So now it just really sticks out like a sore thumb. I'm not actually sure if that's something that I want. Yep, I take it back. I take it back. I don't want it. I don't want it. Give me back the other one. I don't like that one. Like this one. Let's hit play. Very high resolution. It looks very, very nice. I do really appreciate that. Let's collapse this real quick. There you go. Interesting. That just looks great. And I could stare at these for hours. Now I have another interesting question. Can I just turn this on for the entire area? Here, let's get rid of the depth filter. I just kind of want to see what the entire game looks like when it looks like that. If you've seen a game similar, this paper system was inspired by something I saw online a few years ago. I never thought I'd see it in a game, but a game called Vellum on Steam had recently executed something very similar in their game, which is also made in Unreal Engine. And so a combination of my past history with like doing this kind of research, since I do a lot of graphics research, and also the execution that game Vellum had also really inspired me to create this basically specific things look like paper kind of system. It looks very, very cool from a graphics standpoint. If you're curious, this is just a hub world for our game. This is not actually the whole game. We have other hit levels that we were working on. Today was just a really nice day where we could just chill out and make things that looked really, really nice. So how the heck is our player gonna get down? Oh, we currently don't have a way for the player to get down to the next level. We'll need to figure out what that looks like. So there's no way to play this area yet. We'll need to talk to our level designers about that. But I'm just here to decorate things. Painted sky. What is this? Whoa, what is that? Oh. Well, my Unreal Engine crashed. We gotta wait for it to turn on again. Whee! Okay, well, while we wait, we can chill out for a little bit. Looks like we don't have too much time left in the stream anyway, since we were gonna be ending around 3. So now is about the right time. If Unreal Engine was gonna crash, now would be probably the best time to do that. I still need to upload the new code that I just wrote over to our cloud server so that our other level designers and artists can access it. So we may be calling it at least for today. We usually stream until 4 to 6 typically, but today's going to be a little different since I have some stuff that I need to do. So unfortunately, we are having to end the stream early, but do tune in. On Friday, I believe we will be having our next stream. That's going to be our big stream. We're going to be playing some games, hanging out, hopefully getting our stream set up, and then doing some coding if we can. It'll be a nice variety stream. So I hope you guys look forward to it. Since there are some new people here, I wanted to show this off. We have these are our schedules each week. We typically stream on Sundays and Mondays. And then we'll have our Tuesday meetings and our Friday meetings, or not meetings, streams, randomly set. Oh, I'm so sorry that our marketing lead is holding you hostage. We'll definitely get that settled, Scott. But yes. For those that haven't seen, this is going to be our schedule for the near future. So I'll see you guys Friday. I don't believe we'll have a stream on Tuesday. We'll just be very busy then. We'll be doing a lot of work on our game, kind of off stream. But then our Friday meetings, we're going to be having a very, very nice variety stream, kind of going over a bunch of different stuff. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. Oh no! There you go. I hope you guys enjoyed today's stream. I'll see you guys later this week for another long stream. Sorry for cutting it short today, but we did get everything we needed accomplished, and I'm very, very happy about it. So I will see you guys